Patriot 5 and Patriot 6 here. Friday night. Is this going to be the time we've been waiting for? Are we finally going to get what we justly deserve? I don't know, because there's some wackos out there, guys. My goodness gracious. I was going through things today. They got people living on the moon. They got people living on Mars. How do we know? We thought we went to the moon, then we said we're not. I was so proud of that guy that hit that golf ball off of the moon. How far do you think that ball traveled? And then to find out it's not even real. Mars, I never heard anything that we've been there. Only thing I've ever really heard about Mars is they got one heck of a candy bar. I mean, where's it going to stop? Yesterday, video Ron and me did. 8 times I did that video to finally get it to you. 8 times. First couple, just circumstances. Then all of a sudden I'd be right, just about done, and the phone would ring. Since I'm using my phone, it ruined the video. Then my son would come downstairs and just start talking. Hey, he doesn't know what I'm doing. All he hears when he comes down is Dad's down there talking to himself again. He's heard it 1,000,000 times in his life, Dad talking to himself. I'm crazy. And finally, I said here with Ron, we needed to go do something. I said, I need 20 minutes. And I think the video ended up right at 30. So I lied. But we got it out. I don't know what you guys, I haven't even looked to see how many people watched it. I just know that I was excited yesterday. I really was. I mean, I really thought we were going to get that announcement, and I'm going to talk about it here in a little bit with Bruce and that, what he did last night on his show and everything that's going on. And I'm never going to give a date, guys. I might say Friday, I might say Wednesday, but I'm not going to give Friday the 1st. I'm not going to give Wednesday the 6th. I might say days, but I'm never going to give a date. Because there's just so many things. And then I'm listening to this video, and this lady's talking, and I'm thinking, I've heard that voice but I haven't heard it for a while. Hi, Mike. How you doing tonight? We love you too, buddy. Good to see Myrna here. Myrna, them were some amazing pictures that you posted. I'm assuming them were the pictures at your husband's funeral when the Navy took over and did the salute with the guns and everything. I know my brother-in-law, who we just had the funeral for just a little while ago, he was Navy, and they did the flag and they did some other things, but they didn't do the guns. And I kind of they did the boom boom boom, with the horn and all that. But I tell you, guys, if you want to see military in action, serious, and you want to see them, whoa, they know what they're doing, go to a military funeral. It's like, wow. And it had been a long time since I had been to one. 67 when Lloyd Phillips lost his life in Vietnam. Another wasted, lost life because of bush beans and all that. Because if bush beans can't operate their stuff up, I can't stand them people. I never eat a bush bean in my life again. Not because they're associated with it, but just for the fact they got their name on it. Did see something pretty cute about, let's make it effing real. You got to see that saying. I mean, they go through it pretty good, but we're a kids-oriented show, so we don't say that word. Yeah, it looked like it was, Myrna. How are you doing? Mike Davis went to the bank today and they still will not tell me anything. And that is the manager. I'm getting some bank stories. I'm going to talk about tonight, but I'm the same way. I go to my bank and they're either the dumbest people in the world or they're the best actors. And we know it's about ready to happen to actors. So, where was I at? Oh, yeah, I'm listening to this video just a little bit ago. Patriot Diane with two N's had sent it. And I recognize the voice, but I hadn't heard it for a while. It's the lady that says she's Tesla's niece. And she's talking about all this life on Mars, life on the moon, life here. She's been in heaven, and she sat down and talked to God, and she just had to come back and tell us everything. And I'm not saying she hasn't, because she got kind of a deep voice. So I'm kind of wondering if she's man or woman, because to me, you'd have to have a pair to say some of the stuff. To say, see, okay, here's what I want to say. I want to worry more about the United States and about God's earth right here. If they want to come up later, and tell us we have proof of this, prove it. But right now, gosh, I was so excited, so happy, I just couldn't believe it. And then, man, it just seemed like everything I looked at today was about another planet, life on someplace else. And I don't care about life someplace else. They've left us alone supposedly for all this time. Now we're going to go to heaven on earth, and you think God's going to let them bother us now? That's what I look at. How do you keep your vibrations up if you're constantly worrying about, and the beds. And I'm going to talk about the beds real quick because I'm going to talk about the kids here in a minute. They're saying everything they'll do, and they're doing. I'm thinking, I know they're going to do these, but the way this lady is explaining in this one video today, there's no doctors or anybody involved. You just get put in this thing, and all this stuff does everything. And, it's got to be somebody from our planet that's there. Or why would we need any of the doctors? I'm going to concentrate on what little time we have left here before we do all of this stuff. Just on what's going on now. I want to get it to where we got it here now. And, yesterday I made a comment in the show. I made a comment in the show that Ron was talking to me and said that he wouldn't mind if we went into the Big N and Big G. And then about a month later, we did the revaluation. And as I talked yesterday in yesterday's show, for those who didn't watch yesterday's show, yeah, in a way that wouldn't be bad, because there's people out there, they don't have no currency. Now, we all know when we go to the Big N, they're going to get a lot of money. And I think yesterday I settled on, let's say you get at least $1 million. So take $500, $600, $1,000. And in that 30 days, don't go and take 10,000, 20,000. There needs to be a limit. Just because you have money given to you doesn't mean you should be able to go and dip in to things that we've been trying to put a little bit aside here, a little bit aside here, a little bit for how many years. But you give everybody the opportunity to take $500, maybe $1,000. Like I said, you could get some Zim, you could get some Zim bonds, you could get some Bolivar, you could get some Dong, Dinar, things like that. And that was what excited me, because then no one can actually come out and say, well, I didn't know about this. Oh yeah, see, because once we do it this way, see, we'd be in a situation that everybody would know about it. because we tell them, now they have the right to do that. You know, we could actually do shows where people could come on. And that's what we would talk about, a whole show. Explaining to them what they need to do, where you need to go, how you need to do this. And that's just me. Guys, this is just my idea. Well, actually, it's Ron's. Kind of together. That's why we're Patriot 5 and Patriot 6, not Patriot 5.5. So, Jimmy, they're real. They're there. They're ready. They're just waiting for these few people who actually know. The few people that really know what's going on to say, okay, let's do it. You know, you're going to hear all kinds of things. Just be patient. Just be patient. And when time is right, they're going to be there. And they're going to be there, hopefully, in plenty of time for you and your mom. Patriot 11, I hope you're having a good time being back home with your mom and dad. I hope everything is going good with Haley. I know Hunter's probably heartbroken, but she should be back in school now too. So she's got her other friends. And I drove the little monkey over here today because I needed to come home and take a breathing treatment. And in doing so, I drove her by that really, really nice house that I really would like to buy, but the guy wasn't out, so I couldn't talk to him. And I was just more or less trying to kill time to begin with. But boy, I tell you, that's a perfect spot if we could get it for one of our ranches. Karate Kid and Wyatt Earp, stay with mom. Listen to mom. You got to keep her. We know she raises you good, and we know everything is good. Boog, Boogaloo, and Boogaroo. Can't believe Boogs is a teenager already, and John's probably heard that "Why Must I Be a Teenager in Love" song in his head 100 times by now. If not, I'm going to just keep putting it out there. I'm going to keep putting it out there to you, John. That's the kind of friend I am. Oh, my goodness. Oh, sorry to hear that, Jana. Patriot Hunter, the ball player, busted his eardrum. Whoa. Oh. We will say a prayer for him tonight. Thanks, Jana. See, that's the thing about that. He could still keep playing ball. One of the best games I ever had, I was wrapped so much they thought I had broken ribs. I looked at the coach and I said, I can't play the infield tonight. He said, okay. So he put me in center field. I threw 3 kids out for a base because I played so shallow. I hurt, but no, that's a shame. Hate hearing any kids get hurt. You know, Patriot Hunter, a speedy recovery to you, and Patriot little Princess, our queen, take care of your brother. I'm sure Grandma's doing a good job. Patriot little Leona, we pray for you every day, and we know you got that procedure coming up. Yeah, I'm not liking talking about our Patriot kids not being well. Not liking that. You know. Patriot super gymnast, I was telling the story. I think I told it on one of the afternoon shows that she was out on their trampoline the other day, and she did a somersault. And she stuck. She literally stuck the landing. And she's been trying to do this in class, not on a trampoline, but just regular. She's been trying to stick this landing, and she couldn't do it. And her reaction was priceless. And I got talking to her today about it. She said, "You seen it?" I said, "Yeah, I commented on it." She looked at the comment and she gives me a hug and she says, "Thank you so much." You know, Patriot7 told me he wanted to change his name. I said, "Nope, can't do it." He wanted to go to Patriot 8 because Labor Day Monday he will be 8 years old. Patriot Small Hank found out that he takes after his daddy and his grandpa. Very, very, very good in school with numbers. And here's a little boy that's had some trouble in school, and so much that Grandpa Hank got a little bit involved last year and kind of told the teacher how the hog ate the cabbage, because if our kid, grandkid, or my son's son is having trouble, you go to the parents or the grandparents. You don't go to other people. It's none of other people's business. And I was not happy. But we resolved everything. And this year he has a teacher that he really, really likes, and he's being a good boy. And then Patriot little monkey. I brought her over here today, had lunch with Ron. Ron needed something done, and she did it for him, and he reaches in his wallet and going to give her $1. Yeah, no, give her $5. Good great uncle, right? But yet, go buy yourself something. So I stopped and got her a Dairy Queen. I had to pay for it with my $1 because you can get a kid's cone for 90-some cents and 99 cents with tax. You know, so as soon as we get to the house, she looks at me and says, "Papa, Grandpa." Sometimes she calls me Papa, sometimes Grandpa. I said, "Yeah, what you need?" "My money, please." I handed it to her. She looked at it. She didn't know it was a 5. She thought it was a 1. I handed it to her, and she looks at me and she goes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I said, "For what?" Said, "You make sure you tell Uncle Ron I said thank you 5 times for $5. I don't know where she gets it. I really don't. Patriot little Kira, she's trying to crawl, but she doesn't like it. She would rather stand up and help herself from chair to chair, maneuvering around on her legs. She's not into getting on the floor. So pretty much handles all of the kids. Well, we've got our college kids that I don't know what they're doing. I mean, I would think they would have come home this weekend. I mean, I asked my daughter, I said, "Do you want to go drink a few beers just to get away Sunday night?" I said, Patriot, Illinois State, a Redbird. She's the Redbird. My nephew's Illinois State. I says, she keeps telling you she's going to be home. She wants to babysit. Get her to babysit a couple of hours. I said, let's go over and have a couple beers that night. Nothing major, just walk around the place. We don't even have to drink beer. We can just walk around the place, just, taking in the atmosphere. It's a homecoming. Well, the one thing about kids in that generation, they cannot give you an answer. We're still trying to figure out if we're going to do anything Monday, Labor Day, for the boy. I think she's finally coming up with we're going to maybe have a little small cookout, but she might be watching the show. She just sent me a message. I'm sorry, Amber. I'm not talking about you, but no, we have a great group of kids, Patriot, Missouri girl. You would think they would come home this weekend because they've been gone now, but you never know with kids anymore. That's why we got to get a hold of them and we got to blend them into where they need to be. So I'm going to play the music and say the prayer, play the music, say the pledge and all that. And then we'll get into tonight's show. And we got almost 100 people here, 20 minutes into the show. So we're doing okay. Dear Lord, as we come to you tonight, we want to pray for the children that need your help, 100% of them. But a little special prayer for Patriot Hunter, our ball player, who is experiencing trouble with his ear, and look after him and get him healthy and make sure that he knows you're there for him. Lord, look after all the children, 100% of them. Continue to look after Myrna and all the family here we have that need your help. Bless them with your kindness and your love. Let them know you're there. Lord, look after all of the people that need you and is there for you and put all their faith into you each and every day. And we pray to you through our Savior, your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen and amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If tomorrow all the things were gone, I'd work for all my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife. I thank my lucky stars to be living here today, where the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. God bless the USA. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, oh, from sea to shining sea. From Detroit down to Houston, and New York to LA, where there's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say, oh, and I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I'd rather stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. God bless this country. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the
Yes, yes, yes. God bless the USA. I, I just want to God bless the whole world and get this over with, guys. There's so many people. We don't even know how to suffer. As far as, even though we've been prisoners for so long, we've been prisoners with freedom. There's some countries, you take the Ukraine. I love my daughter. My daughter makes really good money. I know a girl in the Ukraine, not the one I write, her best friend, does the exact same job and makes about 1/10, a little over 1/10 the money. The money that they pay a woman in that country. And it's going to come out. See, because it's a country that if you live there, you love your country. You should love your country. But it's just like the United States of America. We have a president that's a president of a defunct corporation, and we don't like him. But we're smart enough here to understand why we don't like him. Over there, they're not. I said one thing to this girl one night about their president. Wow. It's like my mom said, she read me the act like Grant took Richmond. I'm assuming Grant took Richmond in the Civil War. But, I never questioned my mom. But, I think that's one of the things that I'm looking so much into going into the big N and the big G is the fact that people are going to have freedoms. People are going to have freedoms. Exactly, Bill. I agree 100%. It's everywhere. When you start talking, people who are awake like us, and I'm referring to what Bill just said, people who are awake like us, we know what's going on, or somewhat of what's going on. We know what's going to happen, or somewhat of what's going to happen. But if a person isn't there, if they're not awake, you can say something. And, I got in an argument with a guy the other day on Bookface. They said something, and I give my answer. I told him what I felt about Tom Hanks. And I'm not going to go into detail here because, it's irrelevant. But you guys know what I feel about him. And I told him, he says, where's the proof? Wow, they say the proof is in the pudding. And I opened up a whole big can of whoop-ass pudding. And he still didn't want to admit it. So, Bill, I understand exactly what he still didn't want to admit it, but all of a sudden, all these other people that got involved in this conversation, now all of a sudden they're like, wow, if we post something like this again and he says something, we better believe it because he came with all guns blazing. No, I didn't come with no guns blazing. The man asked for proof, and I showed him the proof. The man never did come back and say, well, I'm sorry that I doubted you. And I don't need his, I'm sorry. As my mom used to say, I got a pocket full of sorries. You know what I need you to do, dude, is open your eyes. Because we can't open, we can hit you in the head with a billy club. Just joking. But you're the one that's got to open your eyes. You're the one that's got to want to believe. If you want to believe that a man sitting in a house that's white in Castle Rock, California, when you look out his main office window and you see an expressway running right through his backyard, no other president in the history of the United States of America has ever had an expressway running through the backyard. But he does. If you want to believe that, if you want to believe that a certain gentleman is constantly riding around the world on Air Force One, why this guy had to go get his own plane made and put some crap on it. If you want to believe that, there's nothing we can do. People like that, I just say, see ya, don't want to be ya. Sorry for you. That's all we can do, Bill. But I appreciate your comment. Looking for a few things here. Be right with you. So there's a lot going on out there, guys. Yesterday, if you watched my video, even though it took me 8 times to get it to you, I finally did. I never give up. I did not surrender. I did not comply. And I will not again. I looked at my son the other day and I said, I will not wear a mask through this. You may have to come bail me out of jail, but I will not wear a mask. You know, when you look back at 2020, what happened? They had all of these things that they put in your arm, right? And that was going to save you. That was going to help you. And it didn't. The more people that did that, the more people that left us. So if major things like that can't save you, how's a little bit of cloth going across your face going to save you? Think of that. The stupidity of these people. How did they get such control? I mean, it's almost like they need 5 or 6 people just to go after one of ours. Yeah, it's just unreal. I seen a video today. Let me see if I can remember exactly how it went. No, I can't. Because I just got a brain fart, so I'll have to come back to that. No, we can't prove that we're 100% correct, but we can prove we're more correct, and they can prove that they're correct. I mean, there's one idiot that it's kind of family. Well, not anymore, because he was family to the guy who passed away recently. And I mean, the things he puts up about the hat. I'm going to tell you, if Patriot Diane with 2 hands would see the stuff she put up, she'd go to North Carolina and kick his rear. This man is just, I got to where I don't even reply to him. I'm going to unfollow him secretly, because what's he going to do? Is he going to tell my brother-in-law? I don't think that's going to work. But there's just a lot of things going on that people, if they don't want to open their eyes, they're not going to. So, they keep saying, well, we got to get to this percentage of the people's eyes open. How? Think of it. Now, Bill, I'm kind of getting a conversation with you. How do we get 93%, 94% of the people's eyes open? And I know we're fighting the right fight. But here's the deal. They're taking so long to get this stuff taken care of that when we get close to that number, well, it's going to happen. It's supposed to happen today at 5 o'clock. According to Bruce, at 5 o'clock, he got a phone call last night during the show. Whatever time zone you lived in, you were supposed to get information at 5 o'clock. Now I read where Mark Z was supposed to have a call tonight, but you know what? He's just burnt out. He's taking tonight off, but he'll be back tomorrow. It kind of surprised me that he said he was taking the night off, that he'd be back tomorrow. I thought he'd just, put the thing up there and maybe put a few things up there for you to read, and he could have people donating. And I'm not picking on Mark. I just don't like people who take money. I don't like people didn't have a pot to piss in, and now all of a sudden they're sitting there better off. They could care less. I mean, there's certain people that they could care less if this revaluation goes. They're making so much money now. They don't need it. But we'll see what happens. So I'm going to talk a little bit about Mark. Someone sent this, and it's did our revaluation Friday, September 1st, 2023. RV update by Texas Snake and Mark Z. 1 September. Texas Snake. On Wednesday, 30th August, very positive news about appointment notifications possibly being released. A banker was told to have all of his trained exchange personnel at their exchange location starting Wednesday and forthgoing. Mark Z. Via PDK question, can Iraq do everything in their budget with the 1,100 rate that is going now? Mark Z. Answer, no, it will be in a hole if they do it the 1132 rate, but gets them a lot closer though. Question, what do you estimate the near normal effective exchange rate would necessarily to do to projects? Mark Z. Answer, about $1.30 based on the math that we have done, that many have done, would be the cheapest NEER rate that they can get away with. But then again, they won't be able to achieve the final value that they want if they come in that low. RV News, chatter among the banking folks possible within the next 72 hours is the chatter amongst bankers and groups. Government contacts think as far out as the 9th. That is why they are hearing right now. Banking contracts think we are much closer than that. My redemption contacts are working on Sunday, which is unusual. I'm not getting anything negative. I still have group leaders that think we are going to break all speed records and still think we will get things done in the month of August. Well, that didn't happen. Between now and tomorrow night, midnight, they are going to have to do something quickly if they're going to meet those deadlines. It's encouraging at September 1, 2023. Here's one about a bank. I just got this in an email from a friend. Hi, Bob. I went to my local Bank of America this morning and the teller's counter was gone and replaced with private cubicles. I asked, were they getting ready for the RV and the asset-backed currency? And they said, it's already happening. He knew about the big N and currency redemption. Also, I asked about timeline and he indicated soon. When I mentioned October into November, he seemed to agree. This is the first time I have gotten positive and knowledgeable answer. Wells Fargo in my neighborhood, right down from BOA, looks the same way, and they don't know anything. The last time I asked them, like I said, when you're going into banks, you may get lucky and get someone to say something, but 95% of the time or more, they're not going to say anything. But I'm so confused because listening to Bruce and him taking a special call last night and all of this and all of that, and it's going to happen today. And now this guy's saying, will it happen in the month of September into October? I think it was. Let me see if I can find that. No, October into November. Now they got it pushed out that far. That's why I'm at the point I get excited. I did. I was yesterday. Let's see. This is something that, I'm going to read. It's about kids. I would like to express a situation. If your children or grandchildren don't learn to play with children with special needs at school, maybe you should spend 10 minutes tonight explaining it to them. Because although they don't currently live with these children at the school, they find them in their lives for sure. In the light of recent events regarding the exclusion of a child with autism from attending a school trip and a child with Down syndrome being expelled from dance classes because she couldn't keep up with it, I feel the need to share this. There are boys and girls that no one invites to birthday parties. There are special children who want to be part of a team but are not selected because it's more important to win than to include these children. Kids with special needs aren't weird. They just want what everyone wants, and that's to be accepted. Some like being hugged, first bumps, and then told you love them. Can I ask a question? Is there anyone willing to copy and paste? I've already copied and pasted it in several places. So they just want to know if you're willing to copy and paste and send this out. Now, I wanted to read that because of the way school systems have got. Now, I'm involved with several people in my family. I have a nephew who's a principal, and he runs a very, very good school. He would never, ever allow something like that to happen in his school. I have a niece who is a principal at another school, and I can promise you, on my mom and dad's grave, she would never allow something like that to happen. But the most important teacher I know is my daughter. And I'm telling you, she has a niece from marriage. And Grandma Bo, you know who I'm talking about, little Delia. And if anybody ever took any exception to this little girl, my daughter would be up their rear end so deep that they couldn't sit for a month. Maybe I live in an area where we don't see it like a lot of schools do. Maybe it's because I just mentioned 3 different schools that I know the teachers are there to teach. They want their kids to learn. They want to be there for everybody. But I know there's places out there. I read a joke the other day, and I think I said it yesterday, but I'm going to say it again today. Teacher looks at little Johnny. Now, usually I don't tell little Johnny jokes because they're naughty. But the teacher looks at little Johnny and says, little Johnny, can you see the branches on that tree outside? Yes. Can you see the grass on the ground, how green it is? Yes. Johnny, would you go outside and look up in the sky? Yes. Little Johnny comes back in. Did you see, when you looked up at the sky, little Johnny, did you see how beautiful the blue sky was? Yes. Johnny, did you see God up there in the sky? Johnny said, no. The teacher says, you know why, Johnny? Because God doesn't exist. I'm going to tell you, if a teacher would ever say something like that to my grandkid, Anyway, little Susie raises her hand. Teacher says, yes, Susie. Can I ask Johnny a few more questions about this? Well, sure. Johnny, do you see that branch on the tree? Yes. You see how green the grass is? Yes. When you went outside, Johnny, and you looked up and you seen the beautiful blue sky, you've seen that, right? Yes. Johnny by now is getting aggravated because he's getting the same questions asked. So the little girl says, Johnny, do you see the teacher standing right next to you? And Johnny said, yes. She says, Johnny, do you see her brain? And Johnny says, no, I can't see her brain. Little Susie says, well, what she's teaching us Evidently, she doesn't have one. And I think that needs to be put out in a lot of places, because I'm telling you right now, guys, I mentioned 3 schools that I know are good. These people would not allow that in their schools. But there's so many out there that they ridicule handicapped kids, kids with autism. They're I'm sorry. You got into teach to be there for kids. I said if you wanted to make money, you didn't want to go into the teaching profession. Now, they make a whole lot more than what anything. I mean, I hear a teacher talking the other day. I think we need a raise. Oh, yeah? I said, do you ever think about getting rid of your teacher's aide and teaching the class yourself, where you don't have to pay a teacher's aide $20,000 to $25,000 a year? Maybe they can afford to give you a raise. Because quite frankly, as a senior citizen and having nobody in your classes, I'm tired of my taxes. My taxes to the Herscher School District, as Ron's did, doubled this year. We got nobody in the classes because you have to have teachers' aides to help in a class. You have to have somebody on the bus to help their little boy or their little girl on the bus. What the heck is the mom and dad for? Oh, that's right. They got to work. They got to work so they can have things that other people can't. The teachers can't afford to get raises because they got to pay these other people all this extra money. And I could get in trouble if people hear about this, because I know people who's got teacher's aides. But if you didn't have a teacher's aide, and my daughter-in-law is a teacher's aide, and I guess she's pretty good at what she does. That's not the point, being good at what you do. When I was in first grade, my teacher was Mrs. Collins. She would teach first grade. While she would teach first grade, second grade was doing some studying. She'd teach us for a little while, then she'd go over to second grade. We could do coloring or whatever she had for us to do while we waited for her to come back for another subject. Same thing as third and fourth. We had one teacher for 2 classrooms. Fifth and sixth, we had one teacher for 2 classrooms. And fifth and sixth, not only did he teach 2 classrooms, he was also the principal of the school. It's a sixth grade school. But I learned more in that school than any school I ever went to, because the teachers were teachers. They didn't care about the money. They didn't hang around school for an hour and a half, 2 hours after school was over, preparing classes. They got their class. These teachers had to prepare for 2 classes with no teacher's aide. Oh my goodness gracious. They was in charge of getting these kids to recess. They was in charge of the ones that was eating hot lunch at the school, getting them to the cafeteria. Afterwards, they was in charge of both classes to take out to recess for a half an hour at lunch. Third recess, they was in charge of getting the kids on the bus so they could go home. Bus drivers used to get $10 in the morning and $10 at night. And if you worked and you was a janitor or a teacher, but you didn't have sports events or music events or something like that to keep you from doing it, you was a bus driver. They wasn't hiring out. I talked to bus drivers a year ago, and they was getting ready to go on strike because they was only making $27.50 an hour. And this could get me in trouble because I have family that is bus drivers. I don't care. I'm tired of people saying they need more, and my taxes go up and I got nobody there. When is the senior citizens going up? Did you guys notice? Did you notice that nobody mentioned the extra money senior citizens were going to get this past month? Nobody. Ron looked and got his check today. He said, I didn't have anything extra on it. I said, why would you, Ron? It's just like everything else. They put it out there, 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 and then they gradually take it away, take it away, take it away, take it away. Now we're going to forget about it. The hat is giving us so many bones. And just as we're about ready to clean them, he takes them away as he's eating the meat that the bones used to have on him. I love the man. But it's time he shits and gets off the pot. It's time he wipes it and cleans it up. And excuse me, kids, for using that terminology. But it's time that we get to where we need to be. And I'm sorry I got a little bit rambunctious there. I'll move on now. Here's another one of the tellers, banks things. This is from RV, forwarded from Wolverine. So I went to the bank today. There was hardly no one there. And I said to the teller, wow, it's so quiet here. No one's here. She said, yeah, but tomorrow we will be swamped. The storm is coming. Then she giggled and giggled. So did I. Then I said, lots of changes tomorrow? Huh? She said, yep, lots and lots. We're getting stories like that over and over and over and over again. But you know, the one thing I don't understand is if he went to that bank and he actually had that happen, why didn't he let us know what bank it is so we could contact them? Anybody can put things up, guys. And that's what's aggravating me. I believe a lot of these bank stories are true. People are getting ready. We're close. And I don't want to rain on anybody's parade. But quite frankly, it's like when someone comes out with a bank story, someone else has to beat that bank story. And then someone else has to beat that bank story. And before you know it, it's, wow, here we go. David Duffy says, my grandfather worked on a farm at 10 for 50 cents a day. Yeah, I can believe that, David. I used to work in 2 different hatcheries here in Buckingham. 2 of them. Go down and gather the eggs and feed the chickens and get them all plumped up so the hatchery gets, you know. Back then I thought it was pretty cool when they did that to the chickens, because you throw them on the ground, they run around until they finally can't run around no more. They're looking for their head. As a kid you think it's funny. As you look back at it now, you think it was kind of sick. But I worked there. All I got paid was eggs. As many eggs as I wanted. You did what you had to do. Back then we used to go and pick berries up and down the railroad tracks because we could. Not anymore. I can remember going with my dad and Ron, and we had an elevator there. And they'd bring the oats in, and the cars are going through, and the oats would fall off in big piles as they're going through. As they're loading, because they're loading the oats out of into the cars from the elevator, and they'd overflow into big piles of oats. I can remember taking gunny sacks and wagons and filling them. Going out to the corner where one of these hatcheries, when the eggs would not hatch, they just take and throw on this corner. It was their property. They would take and just do it. Just put it there. Just put it there. Just put it there. Hot sun, eggs hatched. We'd go out and pick the chickens up and raise them. People don't understand. But I think that's why we're better people than the class of people are now. And if I'm offending somebody at your age limit, I don't mean to do it. But Patriot Diane with 2 N's says it best. The people in our age group, we didn't have it all. Peaches and cream. And I'm even going to go a little bit further. You go up just a little more, like Ron's a few years older than me. You go up into that one, and they really didn't have it good. My parents, no. But we had scruples, and we were taught right from wrong. Let's see what Brucey's got to say. Where are we now? Intel only. There was a call, second T, PMs. We're waiting to get that call. They got a call, but it wasn't the green light, and we're looking for now. Today at noon, they got a call, and this was the way we have to look at it. Look at this. Our 2 tiers of PMs for bondholders and for 47 expecting the call. So 24 to 48 hours, things happening, but the call that was going to come in 24 hours later was done today and finished at 4:30 to 5 p.m. today, and plan now is to have the green light from this point remaining. T1 banks and PMs know by email for the release of the funds, and they will send emails to bondholders giving them access to funds. This was not just to those, but to all of the RC key top people, and they are up to speed, and so are the PMs. What we believe we have is the ability to move forward with notification on the 1st, but looking more like tomorrow than Saturday. But the exchange is on Saturday, and we are hearing that even this is Labor Day weekend, we will power through, providing we do get started by Saturday. And we're certain areas of the country where 3-hour shift workers like Detroit, so the shift workers, those will be doing exchanges around the clock, especially for those workers. Bruce has just gone off to get a call. Yes, it was important information for sharing. Yes, so we are talking about powering through the weekend, and we should be notified tomorrow by 5 p.m. We should be notified at 5 in each time zone, 5-ish, and get our appointment and start exchanging Saturday. We should be seeing political change in the next 48 hours, max. Otherwise, this should be it, our last call. And, him and Bruce and Sue, they started talking. They started getting a little bit excited that they really believe that this was their say goodbye call, that their happy days are here again. But still, with all of this going on, all of the happiness, all of the celebration, this was their happy call. You still have time to get in touch with Sue. You gotta love it, guys. That's all I can say. I don't have words. What else you can say? So, Restored Republic, Judy, September 1st at 12:01. There is no step 5, the end. The Hats office on Telegram, Thursday 31st. I guess he was talking last night. You can run, but you can no longer hide. We are coming like thunder. We can hear you breathing. Q. An urgent plea for help to help the people in Maui. And speaking of the people in Hawaii, I saw a video today with that lady. Now, I'm going to put it to you this way. The lady that was heavy, Then she lost a lot of weight. Then she was heavy. Then she lost a lot of weight. Then she lost a little more weight. Then she was heavy. And see, getting to know all of the stuff, I'd be willing to bet that lady never lost a pound in her life. They just kept dressing someone else to look like her, to make it look like it. Think about it. You really believe that lady was going to give up all that good, juicy food? Nah, ain't going to happen. I was going to say something else, but that would, Grandma Bo said they only change the Social Security on the date that you first received your first check. But they're saying it's an urgent help to do this. And like I said, I seen Oprah with The Rock. And they're pleading for money to help to come rebuild their beautiful area. You know, the area that everything else burned around it, but nothing happened to any of these people's places. Amazing. I used to call him the Rock. Now I call him the Little Pebble. Her, you don't even want to get me started. You know, guy turned, excuse me, guys, I don't know what that means, but anyway. Guy looked at me one day, and I said, my sister-in-law and my nieces are going up to see her. They might get on her show. And he said, why? He said, never mind, they might. And I said, what do you mean? He says, oh, that is a lady that cannot stand men. I said, really? And he goes, yeah. And I says, I'll check it out and see what you mean. I was taping it because I wanted to see if my niece and my nieces and my sister-in-law got on there, and they did. But I watched the whole show. Guys, she didn't like us at all. And especially if you was, WHITE. So they're asking for help. And someone says, well, this lady says, well, you used a few choice words, and the lady says, get with your defunct president. He's given billions away to a country so he can get millions sent back to him. But how's he giving it away? He's got nothing. See, when I hear that they're sending billions to this country, they're not sending billions. They don't have it. It's not there. Wake up and smell the roses. But they also said, be very, very careful if you donate money. Well, I agree with Bruce. Until I know we got someone in place, I'm not donating anything. But when I do, we can really rebuild. It's good to have at least 30 days of food and water and money on hand. The rest of it's the same stuff Bruce talked about. The rest of it's the same thing. They all think that we're going to do it here, we're going to do it there, but none of us know. Guys, I will be on probably at 7 o'clock Monday. I'm really hoping I'm on this weekend. I know I'll do at least a recorded one, maybe two. I wish everybody a great, prosperous Labor Day weekend. And I know there's some people from other countries, and, celebrate Labor Day weekend with us. It was one of my mom's favorite holidays, and I was just talking to Ron about a couple of things, how we need to restore that belief in this holiday. We liked it. But just be safe, be happy. I'll chat with some of you guys, probably talk on the phone to some of you guys, but I'm getting a lot better. I had a rough day today. I think I've rectified it. Time will tell. But me and Ron's going to say goodnight. Happy Labor Day weekend. We love yous all, and we'll see you Monday night for sure. Ugh.